And it's that time. It's midweek. That's time for a midweek edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. Catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Philly Voice, and check out the Philly Voice YouTube page. Give us a like, subscribe, the whole schmear. And the whole schmear is brought to you by the great folks over at Rita's Water Ice. And I downloaded the Rita's app, guys.
Whoa,
you can see that on there on my
phone.
There's
an app. Who
There's
knew?
an app. And when you are a new app user, you get a free ice by just using that code word Fizzy. Candy Kapow ice, the whole deal. And it's going to be nice and warm out there today. So let's do it with Rita's.
Everybody! Go candy crazy with Rita's new Candy Kapow Ice. And new app users get a free ice when they download and use offer code SWEET. Stop by your local Rita's today and try it before it's gone. Offer expires September 4th.
Be cool, eat a Rita's. Yeah, who would have thought, right, that we'd be apping our way to Rita's? I love it.
I know. I had to use the app to find out, my closest location. You put in your zip code, and bam, it tells me to
go
right
finding
over
an
there.
ATM.
Ridge Avenue in Conshohocken, and I go get my Rita's. All right. There's so much to get to here midweek. We got the, golf, the final playoff event coming up. We can go into that for a few seconds at the end of the show. Eitan, I know, has a WNBA play on the way out.
And golf. Yep.
And golf. Matt has an MLB play tonight.
Ooh,
but I wanted to start with Heisman odds, which I got into yesterday. And I just want to get your thoughts. We're big on college football into this show, and week 0 is just coming up in a matter of days. C.J. Stroud, obviously the favorite at plus 220. Now, these are from DraftKings, okay? Bryce Young is the second favorite at plus 380. No surprise there. Then it gets kind of interesting. Caleb Williams, the quarterback that transferred from Oklahoma to USC with his coach, Lincoln Riley. He had some really nice games last year. He was really starting to make some noise. He's plus 700 playing in a watered-down Pac-12 conference. I think there could be some activity there with a little bit of value on it. And I saw some plays being made, some sharp people out there suggesting that it could go defense this year with the great Will Anderson Jr., the linebacker phenom down at Alabama, and he's plus 1,600.
Wow, I don't know. What is it, Woodson, the last guy?
I think so, yeah, from Michigan, way back. God,
right.
That's 20 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, if it's 4 years ago, it's one thing. It's 20 years. I mean, that's hard to buck. That trend.
Yeah, I don't like that play, but I just saw that out there. Maybe that's to get clicks. I have no idea, but that's why we discuss this stuff on this show. My guy, Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, who I think is going to have a big year, is plus 3,500 on DraftKings. Why wouldn't you take a flyer on that? He's playing in the ACC. I know they play Clemson on the road. They play Texas. I believe they have Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's A&M. First, that's their first big test.
Right,
A&M.
right. But if he makes think about this. If he puts up,
you're right.
They don't have to win the game. If he puts up 5 touchdowns and loses to Clemson on the road, he's going to get a lot of shine.
But you said C.J. Stroud from Ohio State has the best odds?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wild, but I think you got to go with him. I think this is Ohio State's year. Finally, we're not going to see Georgia, Alabama, the typical guys in there. And I don't know, C.J. Stroud, I think he's got the weapons still around him that he needs on that offense. I think he's going to shine this season. Same with his entire team.
So what I would look at personally on that note, Devin and Harry, is which one of these 3 guys is going to stand the greatest chance of losing the most value after weeks, 2, 4, 6, right? Like the first 5 to 6 weeks of the season. And it probably is Stroud and Ohio State. If you look at everything that encompasses an SEC schedule, anything that across the board, I mean, Stroud, the return, Ohio State, it's not great odds when you compare it to Drew Leary or Devin Leary, or somebody else along those lines. But yeah, of those 3 guys, I would definitely back that and say Stroud's probably going to lose the most value over the next 6 weeks, especially if you broke that in half.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with Devan too. I mean, Stroud to me is the best pro prospect of any of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's better than Bryce Young, you know, who's a nice player. But Stroud is going to have a huge. They always have great NFL receivers, and that's why I don't go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's going to have a monster year at 2,500. Because if he has the monster year, Stroud's going to get more of the credit anyway. So it's kind of a waste of time with the wide receiver, right?
Yeah, and let me say this. As depending on where you're moving or taking this whole thing, but Van Dyke was somebody that I wrote about, and I got him at plus 3,000. I should have checked with you ahead of time because the value at 3,000 was absurd. 35 to 1 for a guy who already showed last year that he could step in this offense and move the football down the field. Right. But I found there's a broken number. I'm not sure if it's still up there, but there is a broken number. And look, even if it's a cash out opportunity, where, you know, by week 10, you're looking at triple whatever you placed, but not Devan Kaney, Devin Leary. And it's spelled differently, so you don't have to worry about making that mistake. He was at 80 to 1 on FanDuel. All right, every other book that I looked around had him at 5,000, maybe 55 if you're lucky, but this is a 3,000 point difference as far as just a broken line for a kid. NC State won 9 games last year. You can make an argument with the 2 of the 3 losses that they should have won 11. I mean, by a combined 6 points, they lose that. Leary returns. The game to look at, of course, is going to be Clemson. Right. But to your point about Van Dyke, Leary doesn't need to win in order to be considered. And again, we're talking about somebody who's starting the season at 80 to 1 that I'm going to bet by week 6 to week 7 is going to be sitting at 25 to 1. So I'll gladly take this value. It's broken at 80 to 1.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you asked about, C.J. Stroud getting out to a fast start. They play Notre Dame week 1. Can you imagine C.J. Stroud throws 6 touchdowns against Notre Dame and they walk all over the Irish? Those odds are going to go into the, what, plus 150, plus 130, something like that? You could lose any value that you might have right now.
Right, and that's what I would just add to this is when you look at futures, you'll see chalk or maybe a couple of pieces of chalk and say, well, who wants to bet chalk? Well, you want to bet whoever wins, right, first and foremost. But I wouldn't even look at it, and Devan explained this, so I'm just reiterating the point here as we close. But you're not looking at everybody else versus Stroud. You're looking at Stroud versus the other 2 lead candidates, just like you'd be looking at the 3 teams that are really weighted to make the college football playoffs. You're not weighing those against Kansas. You're weighing them against each other. So, yes, Stroud actually has tremendous value compared to the other 2.
Exactly. All right, let's get into the Phillies because they pulled off a nice win last night. And I'll tell you, this Maton kid, he's fun to watch. I mean, Bryce and Stott, they're just keep getting guys that are filling these roles and coming up with key clutch hits when they need it. And I know, Devan, you were all over that game, and you're all over the Phillies right now.
I am. So right now, I was actually just making sure Alec Boehm is in the lineup for tonight, because if he is, I like his over. It's plus money over 1.5 hits on Superbook, and then also the under for the game. And I just lost it. I just had my numbers up here, which I will pull up in a second. But
Phillies 9.5, 8.5.
Not playing. Yeah, I think it was 8.5.
Yep.
Phillies finally not playing the Mets, so I feel more confident in these bets. 9. Yeah,
it was 9.
So over under is 9.
Yeah,
under plus 100.
Okay, on a flat number too. Yeah,
I got to admit, I'm watching them a lot each and every night now, and they're entertaining me. They really are. And Bryce Harper blasted 2 home runs last night up in Lehigh with
are we allowed to bet on that? I would love to bet.
Aton knows. Aton knows. He's got people up in the Lehigh Valley that'll take those bets.
Just
how
text
many
me.
homers does Bryce Harper get next time?
Right. When we know that ahead of time, just send something to the text chain.
All right, very good.
We got you.
All right, now, Aton, I know you got an NFL future.
Well, hold on a second.
You could go Emmys here. You could go anywhere.
Do I not to get to throw something out for the Phillies either, or is it just?
Oh, go for it. Throw it out.
Okay. Harry, I didn't know if Harry had a play.
We know you love those.
No. Here's why: because Syndergaard, and it was foolish of me to expect something that Noah Syndergaard just doesn't do, which is strike people out. But Ranger Suarez. Now there was a 3-leg parlay on this video that I do that hit because Suarez's total on the 3-leg part of me was 4.5. That was fine. The K ladder though, egregiously started at 6. So 6, 7, 8, which I thought was a reasonable ask, mind you, from Suarez against a team in Cincinnati that is begging you to strike them out. But look, they win the game. It's neither here nor there. I can't complain, although I will complain on a betting show about losing a bet. You mentioned Bohm, and there was some basically you were just checking to see if he's in the lineup. And when we're doing it right now, he is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because there was some concern earlier, and yet he was still up on the board as far as being able to. So I took a shot. Look, these are not full unit bets by any means, but I took a shot on two guys who I think are seeing the baseball. Vierling almost had one. We know Bohm is hitting the cover off of it. So I have Vierling and Bohm each to homer at plus 680. These are ridiculous markets. They're not long-term profit markets, et cetera, but they're sure as hell a lot of freaking fun when you're watching the Phillies hit the ball. So I got them each at 680.
There is no official lineup out yet, but I would assume that he's playing.
He's in, right. And that's fine. Like I'm not worried about the initial matchup. I'm worried about them across the board. So I'll take these kids.
All right, Eitan, which one do you want to go to next?
So there are some interesting odds for the Eagles, and I also wanted to touch on the Cowboys too. But stages of elimination. So I'll send you the screenshot here on the text chain. But basically, to miss the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles is the odds-on favorite at plus 150. Now, you have to understand, the caveat here is that the Eagles are not favored to miss the playoffs. It's just in this case of the 6 options, if you will, they are. But overall, like if you look at their win total, where it's shaded, if you look at kind of some other things, there's a heavy expectation that they're going to win 9 to 10 games at least, and that's enough to make the playoffs. But stages of elimination, plus 150 to miss the playoffs, plus 225 to lose in the wild card, 3-1, plus 300 to lose in the divisional round, plus 700 the conference championship, to lose in the Super Bowl's 18-1, and then to win it is 22-1. I mean, at that point, if you're betting the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, then you might as well place 2 bets here and hedge. But
yeah, I've never seen this type of a wager before, so this is cool.
Well, this may or may not be something you can easily find.
Right,
but
it could
bettable.
Be. Yeah.
It's bettable.
Plus 300 in the divisional round is kind of nice. They're making the playoffs. And they're going to win in a wild card. Or if they're playing a wild card game, they're going to win it.
I don't know. So? The only thing I feel confident that they will not miss the playoffs. But that's about as far as I'll go.
Wow. You are not bullish on the Eagles. So you're all Phillied up. That's the problem.
I know. It's why betting on the Eagles is tough for me.
So, yeah, this is interesting, though, because all we have is the amazing positivity that just beams from you whenever you get to talk about the Phillies. But whenever it's turned into actually putting money on the Philadelphia Eagles, it's just like, hey,
that water's cold, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna put money on the Eagles to lose, which is what all these bets are. Like, right. I'm not gonna bet that they're gonna miss the playoffs because that's just bad juju.
No, but I think we can be realistic, and I think Harry's onto something, though. 3-1 to lose in the divisional round. That's already the expectation. All of us expect this team to make the playoffs. You're making the playoffs by winning at least, I would think, 10 games. And there's a really good thing. A lot of key things work against the Cowboys this year to maybe even miss the playoffs, to be honest with you, as crazy as that sounds. But 3-1 right now for a team that could start out. And again, if this team is 6-2 after 8 games, do you really think it's going to be plus 300 to lose in the divisional round? No, it's going to drop significantly, right?
Right.
But are you just anti-betting anything that could kill a run, a magic? Like you wouldn't bet against the Eagles in 2017 in hindsight to lose against the Vikings.
You and I are bad jujus, Eitan, and Devan doesn't like bad juju.
She's trying her damnedest to balance.
I'm trying hard, guys, but this one it's a pass for me on all of them.
All right, that's fair. Now our producer,
and
Matt,
look, that's fine too.
Our producer, Matt, has a play in the MLB. Do we want to go there right now? Because he's hot on this game.
All right. So I got a pretty, I'm not going to call it a lock, but I'm calling it a lock here. So this team, the St. Louis Cardinals, arguably the hottest team in baseball, 9-1 in their last 10. And they've covered this bet in 8 of those last 10 games. So I'm going to be rolling with the Cardinals run line as well as their first 5 innings run line. So the first 5 comes in at half a run, and then the full run line comes in at 1.5 at -134. And considering that they're going up against Luke Farrell, it's a bullpen game for the Cubs. They have Miles Mikolas on the mound. Everything's clicking for them. Albert Pujols is having a resurgent season at age like 45. I mean,
yeah, he's like Tom Brady now.
It's incredible. They have the ball rolling pretty much in every direction, and I don't expect it to stop, especially against a team like the Cubs. They're looking to wrap up the series tonight, so my pick tonight is a ladder of Cardinals' first 5 run line and then overall game run line as well.
Look at this. He's got the ladder working, Eitan.
Break the rungs out. I love it, Matt.
All right.
That's a thing of beauty.
Good stuff. Sir. Now, Emmy Awards. Now, I this is obviously an offshore situation, and I don't watch regular television. So I'm gonna.
You don't watch regular television, like just you only watch sports.
I watch a lot of Golf Channel, and I watch a lot of like Netflix. That's basically what I do.
Are you watching like King of the Hill reruns?
And I've been watching the Phillies, like I said. No,
okay.
I don't watch reruns of shows that I watched in the 80s and 90s. I'm out on that. Okay. But I'll play along with you, because I recognize some of these names.
So there are 2 heavy favorites that I'd be curious to see which one you would be more interested in slamming. And they're both at -175, and they're heavy chalk for a reason: comedy and drama. So Ted Lasso is the heavy favorite for comedy. Some others: Barry, Hacks, Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building. That's where it really gets long shotty. And then what Devan brought up last time, Succession, is the heavy favorite for drama, with Squid Game, Better Call Saul, Severance, and Ozark kind of lingering in the back. I guess Stranger Things technically lingering in the background. So I think it's probably best to start with Devan, because my guess is that of all of these, she's seen more than you, and probably you and me combined, but I wouldn't bet that quite yet because I watched some shitty stuff.
Which category again now?
I have. We're talking about outstanding
comedy and drama
series. And my take is that Squid Game is going to be the winner. That is my best bet, and it's +300. Succession is incredible, but I think given like Succession is now going into its 4th season. I think who votes on the Emmys? The Academy, the whatever.
I think so.
Yeah, the Academy of Television. I think they get bored easily. So they've already done Succession. Squid Game was new and exciting, and it's diverse. I think that's a good bet to go with.
What about Better Call Saul and how it ended, right? Didn't it come to an end?
Right. The Academy does also love a TV show that's ended.
Well,
they like to send them off.
Ozark too.
Their awards.
Yeah, but Ozark is sorry, Devan.
I don't see Ozark winning.
See, that's the only one I watched.
Yeah, but it faded. It didn't fade entirely, but
it didn't really go out on a super high note.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, and look,
sorry, go for it.
No, Devan, go.
I would go Squid Game and then maybe Succession, then Better Call Saul.
I love it because that's 3-1 now. Squid Game +300. I wouldn't tempt fate on the comedy element of it. And the reason why I think Ted Lasso wins this isn't even so much the popularity and the success of the show, but as you've seen what's happened with Wrexham and the 2 Hollywood stars who have basically done a real life Lasso version of this. And I think that has automatically put it right back in the front of people's brains. So yeah, I'm with you, Devan. I'll tail you on Squid Game +300, but I would slam Lasso as the chalk here.
I actually watched season 1 and 2 of The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Season 1 was outstanding. Season 2 sucked out loud, and I was out.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, okay, Devan, real quick, humor me. You have all 8 of the nominees here on Best Outstanding Comedy Series. If you were to set odds on Harry Mays only watching 1 of these shows, where would The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel be?
Yeah.
The odds would probably be similar to where they are now, but no, actually, definitely less. I would guess curb your enthusiasm would be.
Well, yeah, I kind of got through that in the first couple seasons. I was kind of done with it, and then it went away for so long until it came back. I lose interest in that. But you talk about bad jujus. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was stacked with bad jujus, so I was all over it. Yes.
You know what, though? Speaking of, I could see Curb being like a surprise upset here because it left and came back, and everyone loves Larry David.
Yeah.
It's not my personal favorite. I think Ted Lasso should win. But yeah, I could see Curb upsetting.
That'd be huge, 50-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be tremendous value.
Or Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, that gained a lot of popularity too. Is that still steaming right now?
Yeah, and that's another one of those, like, it has like the diverse, it's new, it's fresh. Also, it's based in Philly, and they make a lot of Philly references. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it.
Abbott Elementary is based in Philly.
Yeah, the writer and creator who also stars in it is from Philly. There are a lot of funny scenes.
Awesome.
You should
Very cool. Now, on the way out, Eitan wanted to make sure that he got this WNBA play in here.
Oh, look, I get stuff, sent to me, and I send stuff, and some stuff is just on the net and free from people I trust. So if you can find Connecticut laying 6.5, I would lay 6.5. It's probably going to be closer to -115. Check the VIG. That's fine. But you are going to get them. Most books will have them probably at 7.5 now. Just shop. You can find it at 6.5. They are dominant. And I told you, the one thing I love about betting the WNBA is that you can rely on the top % of each team way more than you can in most professional sports to show up and kick ass. So Connecticut -6.5. Take it.
Now, is that the Connecticut?
I'm a proxy for this. I'm giving it to you. It came from above.
Okay. Is that the Lynx? Is that their name? The Connecticut Lynx?
Sun.
Oh, the Sun.
Oh, no.
No, that's the Mohegan Sun.
It's the Sun.
Yeah, it is the Sun. Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably because they play at the Mohegan Sun.
Don't trip me up like that, Harry. All right.
All right, there you go. WNBA. We gave you Heisman odds, Phillies. We got Cubs, Cardinals, Emmys. We were all over the map today, and that's what we do here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on Philly Voice Sports Bets. And we'll be back